Hey, what's up guys, TotallyDubbed here, and today I'm very much excited to present you a mechanical keyboard switch guide. And this is very much thanks to Max Keyboard, which provided all these stuff that you see in front of you, which is the Max Falcon-8 mini mech keyboard. You've got the Gateron switches with the ultimate sampler tester, which includes the O-rings, black O-rings, and a set of colourful keycaps. Links will be down in the description of all of these below, and I'll also get into a review of the actual Falcon-8 in a little bit because it's actually wired up and fully operational, and it's pretty awesome. You'll see in a second. So without further ado, let's get into the switches. So right now on the Falcon-8, we've got the Cherry MX switches. So we've got red, which is linear and 45 grams, white, which is tactile clicky at 65 grams, black, which is linear and 60 grams, grey, which is 80 grams and tactile, brown 45 grams tactile, green tactile and clicky at 80 grams, blue tactile and clicky 50 grams, and clear 55 grams and tactile. Sorry, it might sound a bit boring, but that is the basic specifications and it might intrigue some. More so, the Gateron switches is something which is very much intriguing, at least to me. Reason why is because I don't really come across them that much. You might come across Kali switches or Razer switches or SteelSeries or even Logitech switches, but these ones you don't really come across that often, and it's quite interesting to actually receive for review and actually just to test them out. So over here I've got the Clear, which runs on linear 35 grams, very light for its actuation. Then we've got, I think it's the brown inside over here, which runs at 55 grams and is tactile. Yes, there it is. You've got the black, which runs linear and 60 grams. You got the red, which runs linear and 45 grams. And finally, we've got the very much clicky blue that runs tactile and clicky at 60 grams. So it's very much intriguing to see the difference between the Gateron switches and the Cherry MX switches. The reason why is because they're very much different, especially the MX Clear, which is a vast contrast between the MX Clear on the Cherry MX, which is 55 grams, versus the 35 grams on the Gateron. So now I'm just going to get into a little sort of sampler of a sound. So I'm going to go quiet and basically click through these, and hopefully you guys remember which keys are which, but I just want to go quiet so you guys can hear them. And I know before I had complaints about people saying you weren't testing them with the keycaps on. Well, now they've got all the similar keycaps on, very light keycaps from Max Keyboard, and therefore you guys will be able to hear it. So I'll just bring the camera a bit down so you guys can maybe hear it just a little bit better, and I'm gonna go quiet now. And there we go, guys. So hopefully you were able to hear the difference, and I'm not going to get into what the differences are, but essentially you've got a variety of them, and it all does come down to subjective opinion as to what switch is best for you. Personally, I found that the Gateron switches were a little, it didn't feel quite right, mainly because I guess they're different actuation forces that they had in comparison to the actual Cherry MX switches, but they felt just a little bit cheaper built. They're actually quite light switches, and in comparison to the Cherry MX ones which are on here, I much prefer a Cherry MX switch. So if I move the Gateron switches out the way, you might be wondering what switch is best for you, and it's very much a question I got all the time from FPS gamers, typists out there, RTS gamers. Well look, there's no certain switch that I can say one is right for you and the other one isn't. However, there's a sort of general rule of thumb that if you want something soft to press on that's similar to a membrane keyboard, which is like a regular keyboard which is not mechanical, then a Cherry MX Red is probably going to be the closest to you. As in the closest feeling. It's soft to press, it's very easy to actuate, and doesn't require much force, so therefore making it quite comfortable. If you're someone who likes to type a lot, and you want something that's quite light in terms of its actuation, then a Cherry MX Blue or Brown might be the best for you. The reason I say both of these is because some people might not like the really loud noise that the MX Blues make, and therefore the Browns, being a little bit quieter and less clicky, might annoy your work colleagues just a little less, and therefore might be much more advised if you're going to take it in a work environment. Alternatively, there's the Brown MX Black, sorry. Now the MX Black is not as commonly used in sort of mechanical keyboards out there, but you can find them in certain ones, and the reason why is because it's quite hard to actuate. As it's quite heavy in terms of its pressing, and also because it's linear, its 60 grams of force make it just a little bit uncomfortable for most gamers to use. But that said, if you're heavy-handed or you're a heavy typist, then an MX Black might be the best one for you. So there's no real right or wrong in terms of what switches to choose. And by the way, the only reason I'm mentioning these four is because these are the these five even, is because these are the ones which are most commonly found. 4, that's what I'm trying to say. 4, not the MX green. These 4 over here. These are the ones which are most commonly found. Now, of course, the clear, whites, greens, and greys can also be found, but it's much, much rarer to find. If that, you might have to buy a keyboard with it's just its PCB and solder on each key individually, which is something which can be possible by certain manufacturers out there, but again, it's a little rarer and obviously much more expensive. So for your average Joe, these 4 switches are going to be the ones that you might be looking out for. So that is the overview of the keyboard switches. It's, as far as I think, I would say it's simple as it sounds, but that is really what you really need to know. There's no right or wrong answer or what's right or wrong for you. It's more of a personal subjective opinion as to what you would prefer. Now let's get into a quick mini review of the Falcon-8. Now the Falcon-8, as I said, is a little mini keyboard basically, simply put, that can be pretty much programmed to anything you so wish. And by how awesome it is, it's just that I went even on CSGO and programmed it to the keys that I prefer. Now you might think, why would you ever do this? Well, it's quite simple. It's basically for you to reduce the distance between your mouse and your keyboard. And even though this might be quite limited for most gamers, I actually found myself getting away, at least playing some deathmatch with this little keyboard tester. Now if I just bring the camera up, I'll just try and do this so that you guys can see what I'm doing. It might be a little bit hard to see, might bring it just a little bit back. There we go. And if it will work, there we go. So I'm just going to choose my rifle over here, and basically I've programmed it to WASD over here and jump on the red switch, and I've got certain other keys over here. So this is crouching, and I've got 2 over here to switch to my pistol, and over here 4 for my grenades, which I can't get in deathmatch right now. On my mouse I've got my own keys, so I don't have to worry about the other ones, but as you'll be able to see, it works flawlessly and it's unbelievably awesome. I can't quite stress this, but basically from this, I was playing some deathmatch, and yes, horrendously missing there, but I just found it so awesome because my hands were closer together, meaning that I didn't really have to stretch out as much throughout my desk. It might seem really simple, but you'll be surprised at people who actually do this. And there's my wonderful spray control, but that's not what we're trying to show here. Anyway, guys, that little piece of kit is very, very much awesome, and I can't quite stress how much fun I've had since I've had it. So yes, it is a useful a tester and switch tester as well, but it can also double up as actual mechanical keyboard, whereas my old QWERTY one wouldn't be able to. You'd have to put PCB under there, which was not something possible at the time when I did my keyboard Mech keyboard tester guide, shall I say. With this it is, and it's fantastic. My only complaint is the fact that its micro USB cable is quite short. It's about 1.5 meters long, or 1 meter long, and it's a bit too short. I would have liked that cable to be 3 meters long and therefore plug it into the back of my PC. So now I'm gonna have to buy a micro USB cable in order for me to do it. Now you can see my soldering skills aren't MLG, they're pretty much newbie, but I got the job done. And for someone who has got pretty crappy soldering iron and pretty crappy skills, and I can do it, I'm sure everyone else can. Anyway guys, hopefully you enjoyed this review. Make sure you check it out, links in the description below. Like, comment, subscribe, favorite and share, and all that good stuff. And be sure to stay mechanical. Yeah. Alright guys, Totally Dubbed out. Bye bye.